Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Bravo Outsider Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Midwinter, and with me, coming in live on location in Los Angeles, is my co-host, Dylan Ferguson. Dylan, how's it going?
Yeah, hi there. Sorry if the quality is not great. I'm doing some reporting from the field right now. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here on Bravo Outsider. I like the name because it sounds like a Western. I think that's pretty cool.
Here on the Bravo Outsider Podcast, each week we bring on someone who doesn't follow the Housewives and make them watch the episode and then get their takes. And joining us today, you may know him from the Hunks podcast. It's stand-up comedian Tim Gray. How are you doing today, Tim?
Hello, my bitches.
Classic Tim Gray catchphrase. We love it.
I'm doing good.
So,
I don't know if you can tell. I did a little bit of research for this podcast. I got some filler in, so I got my lips puffed up.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of
You were
fat
looking pretty good.
sucked out of my ass and put on my cheekbones. So now my cheekbones are the same size as my ass. And
looking nice and well-defined.
thank you. And this is obviously a wig.
You got all the extra buckle fat that other people are having removed, and you got it all put in.
Yeah,
like a chipmunk. Yeah,
it
looks great.
Everyone keeps asking if I got stung by a bee.
So you don't follow Bravo. What was your previous exposure to the Real Housewives, and what sort of pre-existing ideas did you have before that?
Honestly, I didn't really have any pre-existing ideas. The only my only reference point for even this style of a show was going back to Jersey Shore. I did watch that show to completion, and I kind of loved the drama and the big characters and the ridiculousness of it and the way it's all just so insane.
So were any of your ideas of I guess reality TV or the Housewives kind of reinforced or challenged while you were watching these?
Oh, I would say for sure challenged or for sure reinforced, because what I assumed it was what I assumed the show would be is wealthy people arguing. Rich people with a lot of free time and either bad communication skills and I assumed there would be alcohol fueling the events that they would be attending together, which then would bring about fights. And I really, I love
that was totally disproven.
I hardly saw any of that. Yeah. I love it. I love it when someone throws a drink on someone. I think it's such
it's always hilarious.
It's always hilarious.
Just, oh
yeah. I personally am looking for that moment in my life. I'm hoping to get there. Have you guys ever thrown a drink on someone? Or wanted to?
I don't think so.
No,
I do. Now that I'm like, that is an option. That is a thing I could lead my life down that road. That sounds really tempting. The best thing about throwing a drink at someone is that no matter how staged it might be or whatever the situation is, if you get a drink thrown on you, you're going to be fucking furious, right?
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
You could be told for days in advance it's going to happen. Once it happens, you're going to blow your fucking top because that's just such an insulting thing to have happen. That's why it's great.
There was an excellent moment this season on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City where Jen Shaw dumps a drink on one of the friends of, and she just plays it so perfectly. She pretends that it was this jokey thing that they were having fun with, which just makes this friend of even more mad.
Oh my God.
It's pretty beautiful.
That's hilarious. I was joking. Why are you overreacting?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just the total slip immediately into a gaslight.
Yeah. Expert level gaslighting.
Yeah. We'll definitely be missing Jen Shaw on her trip to prison this year. It's a huge loss for reality TV.
Let's hope they get some cameras in there, even if they just have to stitch together a show from the CCTV footage.
No, but I am actually a bit choked about this. Obviously, my heart goes out to the victims, but she was made for reality TV, so it's it's a huge loss, especially for that franchise, but I think like Bravo in general, like really, she was the person on Salt Lake City that was like always driving things and bringing it to the next level. And we'll see what happens in that franchise.
What is she going to jail for?
Oh, okay. So do you ever get those like phone calls where like it's obviously like a scam? Like here in Canada, they do the like
CRA thing.
It's the CRA. Yeah. So she was running a big scheme where she would collect data on people to feed those scams, and ended up like defrauding a ton of old people out of lots of money.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's going away for 7 years. Like it's like a serious, like legit crime.
7 seasons in the clink. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, but like
there's the title for the show right there.
Yeah, obviously it's a really serious thing, but like separating the art from the artist, it's going to be a real hard hole to fill.
Speaking of hole to fill, no, I don't know what I'm going with that. Do you think they would do a spinoff where they start like a reality show in a prison? Like so many prisons are privatized and they have like a income stream. Like if they told the prison, you know, this you'll benefit from us being able to do like a few seasons of Real Housewife in jail.
I mean, obviously the ethics would be atrocious. But you're right that like there are like private prisons, so it's probably like theoretically possible in the United States to cut some kind of deal as
Bravo
horrible
presents.
ethically as it would be to have like a captive cast.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would personally love to see it.
If they all signed off at it, I guess, and could sign, go for it.
Yeah, I have my doubts about whether it would actually happen. Jen Shaw isn't the first housewife to go to prison. So Teresa Giudice, who is on Real Housewives of New Jersey, that we're going to be covering later in this episode, both her and her husband went to jail. They were charged and convicted during the course of the show. They went to jail, and they actually put production of the show on hiatus while she was in prison, doing a few update specials while she was in jail, and then resumed once she was coming back, because she was like that important to the show.
Wow.
And I feel like she would probably have been a better candidate for that sort of reality TV prison show, just because I think she's got more like public goodwill around her than Jen Shaw does, because her crime was like tax evasion, and she definitely put it on her husband Juicy Joe. And like, so I think like people are
wait, a guy
like,
named Juicy Joe isn't paying taxes?
Yeah. And he ended up getting deported, so he like is living in Italy or something like that now. Well, before we get into this week's episode, I just want to talk a little bit about the news within the Bravo sphere this past week. First up, Vanderpump Rules season 10 premiered. The past few seasons, I've been like cautiously optimistic leading into Vanderpump Rules. Leading into this one, my optimism is like mostly eroded, I would say, for a series that has given some of the most iconic moments in Bravo history. That's pretty sad that it's had this huge fall from grace in my eyes. But I don't know, did either of you guys happen to catch it?
I haven't. I kind of clocked out and during last season, and I haven't. And after like the first few episodes, I haven't really circled back yet. I obviously understand why there's cast churn, and they're trying to graduate new members to the cast. There are good reasons both on camera and off camera to do that, and they also just like reached the point where it was like, the kayfabe is not really sustainable anymore once you've been like a reality TV star for like 10 years and you're pretending you're still working. So off-camera issues aside, there's like good reason to introduce new cast members. They just haven't hooked me with the new cast members, so I've just been a little disappointed with the newcomers. And but I'll try. Now there's a new season, I'll try to start from the top and give it a go, maybe.
Yeah, I would say they have ditched pretty much everyone from the new cast members from the past season, and it's all like Vanderpump Rules OG so far. I think they have struggled in like casting the sort of next generation of Vanderpump Rules. Nothing has really clicked, but a lot of that I think has been the result of the original cast members like being really really effective at holding their ground within the show. Like, I don't know where they go from here, to be honest. I think like it's kind of reached a level of stability that is not great for a reality TV show, but there's things that we can look forward to in this season. So Tom and Katie have they've got a divorce. So this first episode, we get to see them post breakup. There's not really any sparks.
Really interesting to me. Now I want to see that. I want to see Tom and Katie post breakup. Yeah. They just became so comfortable as a couple for so long. It just drained the interest out of the characters. They just became boring.
Then we also get to see James and Raquel post breakup. So last season we saw them get engaged. They never get married. James has a new girlfriend, and Raquel is dating Peter, who is a character from the early seasons of Vanderpump Rules. And he is legit the only person that is still like actively like actually grinding it out at SUR. Peter has like a pretty unremarkable history about like drama, and just like overall has like a really awkward on-screen presence. So like it makes sense that he was dropped, but like just seeing him like come back in this like his sort of like awkward delivery of every like line that he has, it drudged up memories of the golden era of Vanderpump Rules. So that was pretty exciting. So James Kennedy is DJing this pool party at a hotel, and everyone is coming, and they give like Peter and Raquel, two of the most like awkward characters in Vanderpump Rules history. When they enter the pool party, the edit gives them this like bad bitch WWE entrance music, and it's just like such a contrast that I actually like was laughing out loud. But yeah, other than that, like I don't know, I'm gonna keep watching because that's what I do. But we'll see. I'm still like not super stoked on what's to come this season. The other big news story in the Bravo sphere that is worth mentioning is Brandi Glanville and Carolyn Manzo leaving the filming of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 4 after Brandi allegedly locked Caroline in a bathroom and groped her.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is obviously like a very serious incident, and Bravo seems to be like taking it very seriously. They don't typically issue like statements to the press about things that happen during the course of filming, but they release one to people. But yeah, so they're treating it very seriously, and I feel like this definitely means the end of Brandi Glanville on Bravo. Probably, I don't think we'll be seeing her again.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like probably not. Yeah,
I think Bravo is gonna have to start doing one of those in memoriam montages at the end of the year for like people that have gotten themselves canceled.
The bodies are piling up.
You should have done that. Don't lock someone in a bathroom stall.
Okay, so the first episode that we're going to get into in a deep dive is Real Housewives of Miami, Season 5, Episode 12. It opens with a flash ahead to what will be referred to as the Gringo Dinner. Everyone is like... everyone is fighting in the restaurant over like a smorgasbord of pork dishes. I personally,
dripping greasy pork at the old Ball and Chain in Miami.
Right, that's the name of the restaurant.
So the proper body of the episode opens. Alexia and Marisol are they're in a weight loss clinic.
The fat doctor.
Someone. Yeah.
She loves just shouting the fat doctor.
Yeah.
She enters screaming like fat doctor. But then she's like way more friendly with the guy who isn't the fat doctor, or at least the guy that doesn't get the fat doctor name key.
Yeah, no white coat for that guy. He was wearing like a graphic t-shirt, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was wearing a graphic T-shirt, and then the actual like fat doctor that came in, he had like a stethoscope around his neck for some reason. Like he's gonna be like checking someone's like breathing or heart rate at this I think weight loss clinic.
Yeah, his white lab coat is probably from like a Halloween store or something too. I'm not sure about those guys.
Heavy on the props. Heavy on the props.
They've got the injection, and she's like, "What is that?" And he's like,
"Don't worry,
you gotta take it twice."
Yeah,
literally just avoids the question.
They were like very reluctant to say what was in this injection. That
absolute sketch bullshit. Yeah,
and they let Marisol like inject this into Alexia's ass, like which completely like untrained.
Which all doctors do. Who wants to do it? Who wants to do the injection?
Here comes the airplane. And Marisol was the other one, right? Is Alexia and Marisol?
Yeah, Alexia and Marisol.
Didn't Marisol have a part in that sequence where she said in the confessional or whatever that she never gets it herself? She just brings people there to get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said on multiple occasions during that, like, oh yeah, the fat doctor doesn't help me, but like...
I'm just going to hang out.
Yeah.
Marisol's great. I love Marisol. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just always shouting obviously false things.
Yeah.
With like a delighted tone of voice.
Yeah.
She's the best. She's my favorite in this show.
Yeah, she's fantastic both this season and last season. So she is actually technically a friend of. So she is not a full blown housewife, and I don't actually understand why, because she gets
so
like
much screen time now.
Yeah, she gets as much screen time as like anyone else, and like she has as many confessionals. Actually,
was she the one that had like the two things on her fingers, like her? I'm trying to remember, like all the different outfits were so wild for the confessionals.
There's some crazy ones in this.
It's like a fashion show, right? And it's so many of them had like weird dressings on their hands, like
where it's like the bodysuit thing, where the dress continues to cover your hands.
Or
Larsa's got the most insane ones in this episode. She's like, there's one where she's wearing like basically a magic eye, but then for a lot of the confessionals, it's like that black and white, like Frank Stella madness. It looks like it was designed to like confuse like body recognition technology on like a camera or something. It's just like lines going in every direction. Complete insanity. Wild stuff.
One of the things that we see when they enter this weight loss clinic, the guy that isn't the fat doctor, the non-fat doctor, Marisol and Alexia, they agree that he has good manners, and they use it as a very awkward segue to talk about Nicole's bad manners at Alexia's party last week. And what they're referring to here is Nicole tossing her black Amex card at a family attorney that Alexia had brought to this party under some sort of context that is still unclear to me. To sort out some issues within the group. After the weight loss clinic, we get a bit of a FaceTime between Nicole and Julia. Nicole says that she's planning a cast trip because the last one didn't go well. Julia raises her eyes, and we get like a goofy cartoon boing sound.
Great. Just a little clip for boing.
Yes.
So good.
I wrote that down. Boink. Sound effect was very fun.
Those little moments. Those are beautiful things. Little artifacts.
Julia and Adriana, they go to lunch. Julia is greeted with champagne at the restaurant. She's like wearing like a nice long dress, and Adriana arrives wearing like what looks like a NASCAR hat. I don't know if either of you guys saw this, but it seemed like a huge contrast to me between like the restaurant and like what Julia was wearing, and like to come in.
Julia always has a huge contrast with the others, and that's what's great about her. You'll have like a group of these women who have, a lot of them have faces that are approaching like Polynesian Idol looks, and like just like shouting at each other, flinging their hands around. And Julia will just kind of be like taller than everybody, just kind of ethereally floating behind them with a vague smile, wearing like a fucking muumuu, just like somebody's stoned French aunt who just kind of stumbled in. She's great. I love the energy she brings, or the lack of energy she brings, just kind of floating about.
She's the Russian lady?
Yeah.
Dark hair? Okay, cool. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Who's married to Martina Navratilova.
Then we see what Lisa and Larsa are up to. Actual villain Lenny is trying to get Lisa removed from the home.
Is Lenny is Scott Pippen, or am I confusing?
So Larsa was married to Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Lisa is the other girl in the scene who
she's also getting a divorce
this season. So Larsa and Scottie Pippen's divorce was finalized like a long time ago, but Lisa this season, it started out with them like hosting parties together and stuff like that. And then there was like a hot mic moment, they call it. So Lenny had his like mic pack on and was talking to one of his buddies at a party and was like, between you and me, I might be single in a couple weeks, and I don't want to have sex with Lisa because then I'd be cheating on the girl that I actually care about. And like, so this season's like, I guess the big storyline for it is Lisa and Lenny's divorce
and Lenny kicking Lisa out of the house.
So that's what he wants to do.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
It's sad with that Lisa one or whatever, where they just have like a cameraman hiding in a bedroom, getting audio of this divorce happening in the other room.
Yeah.
They put like grayscale on the shot. It's like, whoa.
Oh yeah, that's how you know. It's grim.
Yeah. I love that they swing for the fences on the outfits.
Next up, we had the Gringo dinner.
Gringo dinner. The set piece. Let's go.
They start off with discussing which husband is most gringo. And we also get like a false etymology for the word gringo from Marisol.
I love the little etymological sidebar. They should always do etymological sidebars. Just have people just say what they think the origin of a word is.
Big
and you're Marisol absolutely merited having the big red word false slapped on the screen. Her definition is it comes from the Korean War, I think. What the fuck are you talking about? The Korean War? Come on, Marisol. Think. What was in that injection? Jesus Christ. Though also, I kind of wish that I was in like the editing room when they decided to give Alexia's definition the green word truer. They hedged it a little bit, and they're more generous than I would have been because that's actually a folk etymology. It does not come from the words.
Do you know the actual etymology?
The best theory is that it comes from grigo, which is the word for Greek. You can actually find a Spanish dictionary like from Spain going back to I think like the 1780s or late 1700s, where they use the word where they have a definition for the word gringo as a derivative of grigo, meaning a foreigner or an outsider.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like how in English you say it's all Greek to me, for like it's all foreign, it's all strange. Apparently Spain had that same thing where you would refer to something strange or foreign as Greek, which is grigo. And that, going further back, that probably comes from like the Middle Ages when monks would be like transcribing Latin. And if they would come across the Greek a Greek quotation in the Latin, often they didn't know how to speak Greek, so it'd be like mysterious to them, which is why we have it's all Greek to me and why they said grigo. So that's believed to be the origin, and there's like old dictionaries that predate the Mexican-American War, though we don't actually have like Mexicans calling Americans gringo until like after the Mexican-American War. So if you go back to Europe, you have you can see why I love the etymological sidebar, right? But anyhow, truer was a little generous there. But definitely, when you're comparing it to the Korean War,
Alexia is still pissed off about the credit card move that Nicole pulled. Really giving life to this moment.
They must have had a few mojitos at this soiree.
I would have put it past them.
So Nicole's husband is is there, and he says, so he's an attorney, and he says that he's going to send this other attorney like flowers and Godiva chocolates.
I know, it's so funny.
No, not Godiva chocolates. Not Godiva chocolates.
Oh, it was not Godiva chocolates.
Well, as I remember it, what Todd, Alexa's husband, says, like, what, you going to send him Godiva? And he's like, I wouldn't send him Godiva. And he's like, oh, of course you wouldn't. And he's like, no, I'd send him something better. And then Todd's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
I like that moment.
They got
where they're like,
into it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They got into it.
They're both just insulting each other and then being upset that they're insulting each other, you know?
Just finding anything to cling on to. Like, oh, you too good for Godiva? No, I'm better than Godiva.
Yeah.
Just finding the slightest handle.
You're being so insulting. You just send him flowers. You work at a place with 4 lawyers. I don't work at a place.
This kid is so rude. Wait, who works with 4 lawyers? Who works with 4 lawyers? I have 128 employees.
Yeah. 56 lawyers.
And how many of them are lawyers?
Yeah. So funny.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, Nicole and her husband come off better just because they come off as calmer, whereas Alexa and Todd are just fucking blowing their top.
Yeah.
Which is, what they're there to do.
Yeah. So next up, Julia Skypes with another adoption agency. So she comes in, she puts her laptop on this like beat up old cardboard box in like a dining room. Not much happens in this scene. There's like,
that's just kind of a sweet moment. You know, she gets to find an adoption agency that will actually work with her.
Yeah.
No drama going on there. It's just kind of a nice moment for her.
It's nice.
It's sweet. Yeah.
Then we see Kiki, Larsa, and Lisa going to the club.
Yeah.
They order some margaritas, and Lisa orders chicken tenders.
That's so funny.
The Dirty Bird. Yeah.
Yeah, like super empty club. They're all dressed up.
Empty.
Lisa orders her.
Were they there at like 6 p.m. or something like that?
Yeah, it's got the full like light show going on, but clearly there's like no music playing because they're shooting a TV show, so they have to be rolling like audio.
Of course. Yeah. Kiki seems hilarious.
Kiki steals the scene.
Kiki lets it rip in this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kiki's great. Great moment for her.
She diagnoses Lisa with needing more dick.
Yeah. And you need more dick than me. And I need dick. That's saying
a lot. We get a really beautiful intercut of Lisa receiving chicken tenders.
Yes.
With her confessional about her and Lenny not being swingers. Just a really interesting juxtaposition. I love the spotlight that they put on these chicken tenders in this scene.
Yeah.
And then they give the editors continue to shade Lisa by cutting together a montage with timestamps about her talking about Lenny for 31 minutes.
I know.
Right. With the crossfades to emphasize the duration
that
of it.
Was so overly shady, I thought, because you go through a divorce with someone, you're out with your friends, you get some drinks. 31 minutes is a very reasonable amount of time to spend talking about
that situation. Yeah.
I think they cut from a monologue to a line where somebody says, "You guys want some sliders?" There's always just so many food references. They had
there's one point where who is it? Is it Lisa? Somebody says, I want to eat something that's easy to eat. I want to order something that's easy to eat, which is a weird thing to say to a waiter.
Yeah.
And they have a shot of the waiter, looking at her judgmentally, oh, right, I'll get you something easy to eat, bitch.
Does that
what
mean
the fuck are you
soft? What the
fuck? Yeah. Do you mean small? Do you mean easy to hold? What are you talking about?
Baby food?
Yeah. I'll put the spoon in your mouth if you want.
And the scene ends with Kiki just being over Lisa talking about Lenny and deciding to go and dance on the pole.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, they're coming to talk to us. We're getting kicked out of here." You're the only ones there. There's no music playing.
So finally, we've got Nicole going for a one-on-one lunch with Alexia.
Yes.
Confrontation. Great walk-ups leading up to the confrontation.
Yeah.
Good shots of, purses and heels clicking and grabbing the doors with I love when they frame the walk-ups like it's like Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Oh yeah. I was thinking like the classic standoff shootout at 5 o'clock. They show the spurs. And
yeah, tumbleweed comes rolling by.
That was in the club, actually, when the tumbleweed rolled by. Yeah. Kiki's dancing on the pole, and there's just newspapers blowing in the breeze.
Untouched chicken tenders.
Vultures are eating the chicken tenders.
We get a sort of apology from Nicole.
Right.
Eventually she comes around to saying sorry. Alexia's not really having the I'm sorry, but that's what she's mostly pissed off. She calls Nicole a narcissist.
Yeah.
And
eventually she gets that heartfelt apology.
Nicole gets a little philosophical, and I like that. She seems to actually be digging somewhat deep. And she says at one point, "Do you think there's a world where we have legitimate fun?"
Yes,
that's a great line. It's and then she talks about heartbreak and how your heart actually hurts, and she seems very earnest. I feel like there's a bit of actual earnestness coming through that I thought was kind of sweet.
I also appreciated the fact that in this episode ending moment where they're gonna confront each other or squash the beef, that they fit at least 2 scenes of them ordering food.
And a great waiter.
Yeah,
Great waiter. Love it when a waiter shows up and he's just fucking, or he or she is just ready for their moment.
Yes.
To do a performance of the super polite, attentive, casual, friendly waiter vibes, and this guy comes in I'm ready to go. I always love seeing the waiters, and this guy was this guy was seizing his moment in the spotlight.
Yeah, probably an actor. I mean, I don't know.
An aspiring actor, obviously.
Yeah.
Every waiter is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's about it for Real Housewives of Miami. Any final thoughts on Miami before we move on to Potomac?
It really did make me want to visit Miami, that's for sure. It looks like a cool city. I can't remember if it was in this one or a different episode. Yeah. It was in this one. What made me want to visit Miami was when I think it was Lisa having that sad moment talking about the divorce, and it was the footage of inside of a bedroom where you just hear the audio of them getting divorced, and then it smash cuts to all this montage scenes of visit Miami, it just this sad moment to this upbeat music and beautiful shots of the city of Miami.
The transition montages in Miami are really appealing.
Okay, so on to Real Housewives of Potomac. It's the season finale. We start off with getting a recap of the season, including his cancer scare, Ashley's divorce, the Chris drama, Robin's wedding storyline, and Charisse just kind of being there and calling Karen a prostitute.
Yes.
Then we open on Ashley going to the restaurant with her toddler son, Dean, who is refusing to put on a t-shirt. Looking especially like John C. Reilly today.
The kid?
And Ashley tells Dean about buying the house with Michael. He's 2.5 or 3 or something like that. So he does not register this at all. And Ashley then orders a tea, doesn't let it steep, and just drinks the hot water.
Yeah. she says how much she needs this tea. She needs this tea. And then just immediately pours it out and drinks a clear glass with nothing in it.
I'm sick. Can I get a table for two? No, you want a table for one plus a baby. It's not a table for two.
Yeah.
Touching all the
another good waiter too. The waiter here is good. Very good. Yeah, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
Great, like reaffirming every choice they make. Really good waiter performance.
Careful, it's hot. Classic. Classic.
Yeah. Delivery on point.
Oh, yeah.
Very well done. Yeah.
So Ashley FaceTimes her mom, lets her know that
was her mom.
She is actually buying this house with Michael, who they're in the process of getting a divorce.
It's going to be her house, though. It's going to be her house.
Well,
yeah, and she insists it will be.
But they'll both own
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
Yeah. The nice, easy $13,000 a month mortgage? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
They have a sort of not even verbal understanding that her things are going to be left to her based on general vibes that she's picked up.
Going against.
So of course everything's going to work out perfectly. There's no way he's going to fuck her over.
They're going to prove that divorce lawyer wrong. Prove her wrong.
What did? Yeah.
We get an intro continuing with Giselle cleaning some twigs off of her roof.
Just a little shot of that, and that's it. Just throwing some branches into the driveway. There we go.
Bye, branches.
I'll go there. Yeah.
We see Juan and Robin and family playing basketball, and Candace is hanging out with her sister, paying bills and chatting about the release party.
Can I just point out that her sister says that when she's paying bills, that's so ghetto. Maybe the word ghetto has evolved recently, but that's not what the first thing that springs to mind when I think of ghetto-ness is paying your bills. So
so Mia tells Karen she had a gluten reaction to a chicken wing at Robin's bachelorette, and then downloads her on Charisse saying that Karen had sex with a bartender. And Karen is more pissed about Mia not defending her than she is about Charisse running her mouth. Robin is at home. She is apparently working on her hats. Her hat business is still a thing, I guess. Her parents arrive and she awkwardly shows them around the house.
Yeah.
And lets them know that her and Juan are planning to get married during Juan's brother's wedding trip to Jamaica with no one else around.
Is she not close to her parents, or is there like...
Yeah, I don't know.
They seem to be on pretty good terms. Based on that scene.
They popped in.
But yeah, obviously there's some tension, which she does a pretty skillful job of diffusing and deflecting.
I
think.
One thing that I think kind of taints this season of Real Housewives for me is Robin has obscured a infidelity storyline about Juan that apparently happened right before this season. So it came out, I think last week or the week before, that Juan had cheated on Robin, and Robin had covered it up over the course of the season. And then it came out at the end of the season, and after things had wrapped, and she was like, well, I'll talk about it on my Patreon, so you can go there.
Whoa.
And was trying to profit about
it.
Which is a big kind of no-no for me.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
That's got to be a segment on the podcast. That's a certified big no-no from Craig.
You need to put on the graphic on this.
The big no-no of the week goes to Robin.
But I totally agree with you. You shouldn't be smuggling away important information in the expanded universe, especially when it's behind a paywall. Yeah.
Not cool.
Next up, we had Mia and G go to the doctor. This is a follow-up on Mia's cancer scare from earlier this season.
Cancer, yeah.
It's so funny.
She was vague booking about cancer, and like, everyone was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Every time
the doctor says it
would use her finger quotes when she said disease.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just vaguely disease. And they're going to make sure the disease isn't in the lungs.
Yeah.
And then I think she throws out lymphoma somewhere, but then kind of walks it back right away after. Yeah, very vague.
So we hear from the doctor that it's not cancer, it's a rash.
Right.
And that, as I suspected all along, she might have sarcoidosis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got the diagnosis right, did you?
Yeah.
Dr. Craig.
Dr. Craig.
Yeah.
You can review our previous episodes.
Right, yeah.
Check the receipts.
Just scroll down.
You've always said that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then we get what is like maybe my favorite scene of
I just want to say that I really love how, like, before I move on, how relieved Mia acts that she's going to live through this thing that literally nobody ever told her she was not going to live through.
Yes, yeah. Also, the shade on the edit of her getting the news that it's a rash, and then sitting there and they play little clips of her telling everyone what
they drag her for that. Yeah, they drag her for that.
That was very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
So next up, we've got what is, I think, my favorite scene of all the episodes this week. Giselle and her girls go to the ice cream parlor.
So good.
Giselle starts it off by telling them that she's dating Steve, who is a guy that I don't remember, but they have all these flashbacks.
The most like non-reaction.
Yeah,
possible.
they
like nobody gives
could
a
not
fuck.
care less.
Yeah.
And then what did she say? She asked them if they had any comments or.
Yeah.
Just trying to get them to do some reaction. They're like, I don't know, Mom. I don't give a fuck. Like,
I think at one point she even like confirms that they know who Steve is. Like oh, you know Steve. And then the edit cuts to like being like, we've known each other for 30 years. We kissed 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we know who Steve is. Like, still don't care.
Yeah. We're aware of him. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Giselle moves on to her other big news that she has some sort of like mass in her uterus, which is scary, but it's interrupted by her daughter Angel, who asks her, well, how do you pee? And then the rest of the scene is like just devolves into basically her daughters not having any idea about like the female anatomy. They're so confused that I got confused watching this.
Yeah. Like I said, pretending they know what they're talking about, while also realizing they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Giselle says, I'm going to need like a hysterectomy. And then like Grace says, like kind of authoritatively, no menopause. And then Angel's like, no, Grace, I think you're thinking of the other thing. And it just like devolves into a debate about what's going to happen to Giselle's ovaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said something sweet to her at the end where they're like, no matter what they take out of your body, you're still you, or something like that. Or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's something like they could take away every piece of your body and you're still be you.
Yeah.
That's a nice inspirational message.
Yeah, they also tried to like cheer her up by saying that like if she got a hysterectomy, she would skip menopause, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's less fans for you at church. You don't need to like fan yourself at church anymore." Like there's a like positive note in this.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually Googled it. So I wonder what you guys think. Do you think that Giselle is going to go through menopause or not?
Huh.
Now I feel like one of those girls. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah. I think if you get a hysterectomy and you're a woman, you don't go through menopause, and now you pee out your tits. That's what I think.
I think I also say no menopause. Yeah, I also say no menopause. But you pee out of the corner of your eyes like a crab.
So the answer is it depends on whether or not they remove the ovaries. So if they remove the ovaries, you'll actually immediately go into something called surgical menopause. But if they don't, then you will go through menopause normally later, I guess, or perhaps a little earlier.
Wow.
So there you go.
To know.
Craig's medical corner. Yeah. I could have an etymological corner. Craig gets a medical corner.
Yeah. Classic segments.
Yeah, what everybody wants to hear about.
Sponsored by Masterclass. Wendy then FaceTimes Karen as they're getting ready for Candace's event.
Yes.
Karen is still mad about Mia not defending her, and that's when Dr. Wendy drops the Martin Luther King quote.
Yes.
What is it? We will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Yeah.
I was meaning to look up in what context he said that. Did you do that, Craig?
No, I didn't.
But yeah, that was a sweet little moment between the two of them. Sort of. Just a lot of those episodes are like setting up arguments that are either going to be rehashed or a new argument or, so much of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But you're right. A lot of this episode is like laying the groundwork for this video release of Candace's.
Yeah.
We finally get there and we see like Wendy's husband, Eddie, not really knowing what's going on and asking if it's an album release.
Yeah.
And Candace is there and she wants to make sure that someone announces her presence.
That was so funny. So funny.
Yeah.
She's talking to her manager. Like, don't you think that there should be an announcement that I'm already here?
She gets it.
Karen is avoiding Charisse, and Ashley is chatting with Mia and Wendy or Ashley's chatting, and she brings up like Mia wanting Wendy's box, and it's just a moment to get messy, which I really appreciate from Ashley. She's like never one to shy away from the opportunity to like really like bring up some shit.
Yeah. And I think Wendy refers to her box as the Godiva.
Oh yeah.
Which Nicole's husband would probably say, not much of a compliment. Really.
Yeah, it's the second Godiva reference on Housewives this week.
And also the cookie.
Cookies too, Bob's cookie Godiva. Those are the three terms I think we get.
Yep.
I did really enjoy when they were testing this like new music video that Candace had done with the one that we saw her do in the last season, and they're both in parking lots. Yes, like has higher production value, but they are both clearly in parking
lots. Yeah.
Somebody says like, at least it's not in the parking lot this time, and then there is a seat in the parking lot. They just like have a car this time.
Yeah.
They just set up some lights instead of just using the sunlight like they did in the other video.
Yeah.
There was a confrontation between Giselle had informed Karen that Mia not only didn't stand up for her, but also said that she was a prostitute.
Yes.
And we get the confessional from Giselle where she admits that she's like just doing it to be messy. And that's that sort of like self-awareness from a housewife that I like really appreciate.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And another thing that kind of like stirs everyone up is that like Karen doesn't like outright deny that she's a prostitute.
No.
Like the girls all make a big deal that she's like not saying that she's not.
With Ray like just hovering around most of the time and just being like, oh, that's none of my business. Just gonna head over here.
At one point Karen like tries to rope Ray in and he wants like nothing to do with it. And
he's
goes
like
stands in the corner like holding her purse.
Just doing everything to not hear her failing to deny being a prostitute. Within a couple of meters of him.
And so eventually Karen takes Mia aside. They have a little bit of a one-on-one on the alleged on Karen's alleged boyfriend, who is supposed to be friends with a restaurant owner that Mia knows.
Yeah.
And Karen has a confessional. She says that her people, whoever that is, reach out to the restaurant owner, and they have no idea who Mia is. So,
which is the opposite of, or not the opposite, but that's not disproving what the allegations are.
Still like dancing around it, but she eventually she leaves before Candace is able to give her thank you speech. And so Candace addresses one of those velvet rope posts with like a flower in it.
Put a flower on it
Karen.
And say, this is Karen now. That's great. I love how they give, like in the final montage, maybe getting ahead of ourselves, so that they use the pole with a flower to stand in for Karen.
Great her like finale
really well done.
Yeah, that was great.
Candace says that she doesn't want Ashley to talk to Chris about the Chris drama. Ashley does anyways. Candace calls Ashley's friend Deborah a Sesame Street character again, which is just like so funny. If you see a picture of this girl, like that's the vibe that she's like definitely putting out there.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Though I will say I feel like they're pretty harsh with Ashley and pretty sympathetic to Chris over that confrontation, where Chris escalates it with very little provocation, I think.
Yeah.
And then they'll didn't they include like a little flashback of Chris with the Sesame Street girl, and they show like 3 seconds of him looking in another direction and put a caption on it like, Chris not even looking at her. Okay, thanks for the hard evidence that you've just shown me that in these 3 seconds his eyes were in another direction. Case dismissed. They just seem to be going really hard in on taking Chris's side and trying to make Ashley look ridiculous there.
Yeah, he's definitely like benefiting from the edit here, but also this storyline about the Chris drama is like it now, in light of the Robin stuff, it feels like a big deflection from whatever was going on with Juan and this girl from Canada, as she's being referred to.
Exotic.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ashley goes to talk to Chris. He's still mad and storms off. And then Wendy's like, did you think that was going to go well? And we get our finale slides.
Yeah.
And Ashley's finale notes a short-lived relationship with Luke from Summer House. Karen's finale slide, like you said, they've got the velvet rope posts in her still. And Wendy is apparently now drinking a gallon of water a day, and I'm not sure what this is in reference to.
I'm not sure what I was wondering, is that referring to like something from a previous episode that I missed? Like, I don't know what that's about.
That didn't like
maybe they asked her for like, well, what would like us to include? And she included that, and they're like, okay, that's so stupid, we're going to put it in.
That sounds like a decent guess.
That's all you're up to, huh? Okay, fine.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be Mia, who they just fucking roast.
Oh my god!
Title card.
Yeah.
So this slide goes into the details on her financial trouble.
Jesus.
Right. They put "unlike" in capital letters, like unlike her finances.
Yeah.
How do you lose?
She's broke. Fuck you. And that's just their send off.
How do you lose control of your franchises? Like, what the hell does that mean? Yeah, it's so sad.
I mean, it could happen. It's just, it's pretty brutal the way they
absolutely
they treat it as a punchline.
Yeah. And then a nice little Shakespearean ending there with the wedding.
Yeah, we get like a cute little gag where they pretend that it's
Wait, why is it Shakespearean?
Well, the Shakespeare plays always ended in everyone dying or everyone getting married, didn't they?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. We got the better option. That's
true. They do this like little gag with like pretending it's Jamaica, and then they're actually still in Maryland.
Yeah.
I
like the ending too. It's kind of sweet. I really like. I find remarriages to be like kind of heartwarming, just in general.
Yeah,
it's nice when people make the choice to like. Stitch it back up later on, like being a little bit more mature. So I think it's kind of ending with a marriage, which a lot of reality shows will end a season with a marriage. It's often like bittersweet because you're like, these people shouldn't fucking be together in the first place in many cases.
Yeah.
But having a remarriage feels a little bit more like nice and heartwarming, even though there might be like Craig implied like off-camera reasons to suspect it. But
right.
But I just in general, I like a remarriage. I find that cool. And the gang about living in Maryland is good too.
All right, on to the season premiere of season 13 of Real Housewives of New Jersey. So new season, new Housewives, and new taglines and New Jersey. So we've got fresh taglines for all the girls. So Melissa's is, "You'll never see how toxic someone is until you breathe fresher air."
Whoa.
Which
that's a C for me.
Okay, C for you?
Yeah.
Tim?
I think I'll give it a. You know what? I'll give it a C plus because there's a little bit of creativity mixed with some stupidity there.
Yeah, I think a C is about right for me. Dolores is, "This Jersey girl has the luck of the Irish, and no one's screwing with my pot of gold."
Pot of gold pushes it into B territory. It's always good to talk about pots of gold. It's just funny. Implying you're a little fucking leprechaun guarding your treasure at the end of the rainbow. It's great.
Especially trying to hear it in like a New Jersey, maybe predominantly Italian accent,
Yeah.
For Danielle, new housewife, we've got, "I may be over the top, but I'd rather be bougie than basic."
Yeah, that's D level for me. It's not good.
Yeah, this is.
It's just too simple. It's just where's the metaphor?
Yeah.
Where's the imagery?
This is table stakes for me.
Yeah,
I would give this one a failing grade.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd send it to rewrites.
Margaret also has a pretty crappy tagline this season, I think. "I'm a loyal friend and a lethal enemy."
Yeah, also basic. No color, no images.
Yeah, sorry. Pass.
We've got Rachel, who's another new housewife. "I'm too busy running a business to care about yours."
That's not bad. I'd give that a B just because of the business is being used two ways.
Yeah.
So, at least you have that like poetic device.
It's a flex as well, It's
I'd give this a D. I think it's passing just barely for me. But yeah. And then next we've got Jennifer. "Payback's a bitch, so start barking."
Great. It's great.
Yeah, this is like A plus for me.
It's perfect.
It's definitely A level. Yeah. Yeah.
Brevity.
The way that it kind of mixes the metaphor too, like payback, the concept of payback is the thing that's a bitch, but now the listener is being invited to bark like a bitch. So sometimes a mixed metaphor just has that much more power. It's great.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Teresa's is, "Blood may be thicker than water, but it's harder to clean when it spills." Which
absolutely
is
mysterious, impenetrable.
Yeah.
What the fuck is she talking about?
Scary.
It's scary, and baffling.
Is it a threat?
Like this would be like the tagline on like a horror movie.
I mean, I guess, but also like, what's the water that's being spilled? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're gonna get a some sort of like glass toss or something like that, where she pours water on someone, or it could be in reference to her famous like table toss. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's like foreshadowing water or blood being spilled.
Yeah. I get the idea that the blood ties are more strong, but they cause bigger problems when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I just think that when you're comparing it to water, water has to mean something else. The metaphor has to match both terms, not just one of them. So I'm just baffled by it. I'll give it a B minus because it's still B plus actually because it's still badass.
Yeah.
But I would like some more clarity. I think it could go to rewrites. Yeah.
On the season intro, we've got clips of Teresa's Marge Simpson hair for her very tacky looking wedding.
Funny! Oh my god! Looks like it's like a Pixar villain or something.
Yeah. We see Frank Catania looking like an old timey baseball player. Bill and Jen getting wasted again. one of the new girls, Rachel, I guess, being called like a Tim Burton character, which
that's pretty
was
good.
really funny to me.
Yeah.
And
what did they say? Something like a prostitute in a Tim Burton movie? What was the term they used? I can't remember.
Yeah, something
that. Really good like that. Yeah,
that's so funny.
And then we get a bit of a rapid fire intro where we see Teresa and Louis cooking, Joe and Melissa moving a box, Marge trimming Joe's nose hair, and Jennifer doing something with her feet. Yeah, and then next up was Dolores' home. We get a little bit of an intro to the guy she's dating. They show like a bit of a montage of his like social media pictures, and in each one he looks like a second-rate Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
he's really like trying to hone in on that aesthetic. I feel like,
yeah,
heavy on the filters and. Like he's got one angle that he looks good at, and then everything is at like up and to the left kind of
yeah, this is definitely like a guy that's got his angle locked in on his socials.
Get the car in the background.
We get Melissa and Joe at home. They're teasing the upcoming roller skating party. Frank is living with Dolores' ex, and this is because her current boyfriend doesn't like him. This is such a complicated relationship that Dolores and Frank have that I really love, because I think they're both like very likable people.
Yes.
Frank's my man. I love Frank.
I love Frank.
Great. Dolores is
so
good
funny.
too. Yeah, they're both good. Yeah, Frank's every line delivery that Frank makes is hilarious. He's a great guy. He's an inspiration for ex-boyfriends who just hang around everywhere. Wonderful dude. My favorite.
I think he's also, it's funny because I think he's like, if you were to look at him, he like kind of projects the most like masculine image.
He's the beefiest guy. He's such a beefed up guy with his little angular beard, and he looks like a gym rat loser. Or that he opens his mouth and he's just like a charming dude.
He just like completely like rejects that image that he projects outwardly.
Yeah, and if he's vulnerable for a moment and feels uncomfortable, he's like, "Well, I can't joke around." That was a joke.
Then we get Melissa and Joe at home again. Joe is saying that he's pissed off that Melissa isn't going to be in Teresa's wedding party, but Louis' sister is. This is all just like groundwork for what's to come this season between Melissa and Joe and Teresa, I think. We've got a little bit of Teresa's birthday party. To me, I thought it was really funny that Teresa was very dressed up and Louis was there in like athleisure with no sleeves on.
Yes. The black tank top with the chain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Stands out
Louis
so
is
hard.
like, he is such a caricature to me. Like, when I think of the idea of New Jersey, Louis is like what comes to mind.
Yeah.
And Joe Gorga is pissed that Teresa called him a bitch boy at the reunion last season. That's really like
it's so funny.
A jab that has stung him.
Because obviously he's a bitch boy.
It cuts to the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows it's true.
There's so many so this is the one that I like the most, I think, because I had that soft spot in my heart for the New Jersey folk, having watched Jersey Shore. And I just, I just feel like New Jersey, these people, they're meant for this type of thing. Like they're so big in their personalities, their hair, their everything is so big and ridiculous. But they also, it seems like most of them have a great sense of humor and they're decent at ball busting. Like, I love the phrase that was tossed around a little later in the episode where somebody called somebody else a jerk off face.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so good.
We move on to Melissa's 80s roller jam, and I'm pretty stoked that like episode 1 we immediately get like fighting in costumes, which is one of my favorite things that Bravo does consistently on their shows. Get these guys like dressed up in costumes and make them fight.
It's luchador inspiration.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, make them wear colorful tights, and if somebody pulls some hair, perfect. The roller arena that they're in just looks like a fucking skeezy dive too, which is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, this looks.
The exception to the costume rule was Louis, who didn't dress up at all. He again comes like
hate that guy,
sleeveless and
loser.
Rock hard nips.
Yeah, that's right.
Teresa arrives with him, and she looks like Mo Green from The Godfather.
Yeah,
big like glasses,
big tracksuit. Oh my god, yeah. I was saying this show is a little bit like Sopranos if they didn't have any writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the accents. I love the costumes. I love that
the accents. Yeah,
that they just did that. You know, that's like. It's a fun thing to do, just dressed up. And they obviously got all but one seem to have a great time putting their costumes together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hit a good point, Tim, that like the Jersey people, when they bring up the drama, it feels like so natural to them. And especially with the accent seems like made for like being an exaggerated character. Like, why do you think Margot Robbie always uses that Jersey accent in every single movie she's in?
Yeah.
Not because it's the only accent she can do, surely. Probably because of
surely.
if we're being generous. but it pairs really well with the drama. And unlike Miami, where there's like kind of a medley of accents that are all like a little different from each other.
Yeah.
And all like pretty like indistinguishable, or not pretty impenetrable to me. Like, I don't know where most of these people are from. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are like, Cuban and various like Latino versions, but like, there's like a variety here.
Yeah.
In Jersey, it's like, you all got the same accent. They're all talking in that same way.
Yeah.
And it's a great one. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful language.
And then the thing you guys mentioned earlier about how this version of the show seems to have the husbands featured a lot more predominantly. That's something that I also enjoyed about this show, was that like husbands and wives both get into the shit, like both defending each other, or like both get equally upset about some grievance or whatever.
Because they're all they're all intertangled too.
Yeah.
Like, because there's like family relationships too, and like the dudes are friends like with each other independently. Like there's just such the lines between characters are like crossed everywhere, and it's all just like one muddled group, which is what I like about this. It's more like something you get in like Vanderpump's Rules, where they're like, they know each other all with different relations. It's not just like my husband's being brought into the group, and
right?
He's just
Okay,
like sit there and get angry the second that somebody challenges him. Like they all have relationships with each other,
part of the community.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the most natural when they get together and sparks fly, because like, in a lot of cases they'll be like in other franchises they'll be constructing this like party that is like coming up that they're going to shoot at, and you're thinking, well, why would you invite this person that you're always going to fight with? But like in Jersey, it's like you have to invite them because you've got like family obligations, or like they're just so so meshed that you can't like
intertwine.
You can't freeze anyone out.
Yeah, can't. Yeah. There's another scene at the roller rink where Melissa was wearing earrings that said Melissa, and I, being new to the show, appreciated that. And I think
they should all do that
for their own branding, like finding creative ways to have their names on display.
Yeah. Often on the necklaces on New Jersey, they'll be wearing a necklace that has their own name on it.
Hell yeah.
So, like, kind of like a dog collar.
In case they get lost. Have their
Payback's a bitch, so start barking.
Yeah, it was.
Or in case they die in battle, like soldiers' dog tags, they'll take the Melissa earrings out of her ears and present it to her parents with a folded flag.
Right. It was Frank and Dolores, or Dolores said to Frank, "What are you talking about, jerk off face?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we like Danielle a lot. She's very funny. It's a note that I wrote.
Yeah, this is where we get introduced to Danielle as Teresa's friend.
Yeah, great addition.
And then we also get introduced to Helena Bonham Carter, Melissa's friend, the Tim Burton girl. Then after we meet Danielle's family, we have an intercut between Marge and Joe and Teresa and Louie, because during the 80s roller jam, Teresa invited Marge over to make amends based on over their fight from last season. It's revealed that Marge broke her wrist at the roller rink when she fell.
Right.
During that scene, we got like a immediate cut after the fall to a sign that read "Skate at your own risk."
Yeah.
And Marge is
perhaps at the insistence of the people running the roller rink. You ain't gonna do us dirty here. You're gonna show we got a sign. We got a fucking sign.
I know where your family sleeps.
They're preparing to go to Teresa's for the dinner. Teresa seems genuine when she's saying she wants to like sort things out. But during this like dinner that they have, I thought Louis did a pretty good job of playing peacemaker.
He comes off as surprisingly reasonable. I think it's a good showing for him. He seems to be putting on a good face, anyways. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Teresa is being raw as a cucumber, which I'm not sure what that means.
That is so funny.
Yeah, she's obviously confusing it with cool as a cucumber, but I'm trying to think what's the other expression she's mixing it with? Like, what are you raw as? I don't know.
We get the genuine apology out of her, and then the scene basically ends with Teresa saying that she doesn't want anyone to see Louis' pee-pee at the photo shoot.
Yeah. No pee-pee. And
okay, so this episode ends with the big like calendar shoot scene for the Dolores's charity, and Frank isn't there because he's in the hospital. But Marge's Joe is in a biker vest, and he still somehow manages to look like an undercover cop.
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone is filing in. There's some costumes on display. Did any of these...
Joe is loving it. Joe is having such a great time.
Joe Gorga or Marge's Joe?
Joe Gorga. Wasn't he having a great time?
Gorga.
Oh, yeah. So Joe Gorga was dressed up as shirtless Joe Gorga cooking hot dogs.
Hot dogs. Yeah.
Presumably for the July month.
I would assume, right? Yeah, he was having a blast. He loved that. Puffing his lips out. Oh my God. Well, maybe you're going to get to it, but that the shade on the part where they're like, yeah, he used to be a model. And then they showed like his old modeling photos, and they were just so awful.
That's good.
We've got Danielle's husband watering the plants. Evan is a pickup basketball player, and Louis is like a yogi, I guess.
Right. Louis didn't seem very inspired. Couple of yoga poses.
Again, I think no sleeves on this outfit.
Yeah, again, he's just not putting much effort into it.
Not much participator. No.
Yeah.
We finally meet Paul, who doesn't actually look like Seth MacFarlane in real life.
Right,
Definitely just his social media pose.
Do you think that Paul gets his short sleeve shirt sleeves shortened or tightened when it goes in? Like, he just looks like They're choking off his arms. Like,
yeah, he's got like a stance, like a suffocated stance to him.
Yeah.
Paul plays like a bartender, right? Is that what he does?
Yeah.
So he's
and don't they play like Irish music when he's like pretending to tend bar?
Right.
Yeah.
I guess he's Irish. I don't know.
There was some Irish.
It felt kind of like a mocking
Garlands.
Irish thing or something.
Yeah. So this is playing into Dolores's tagline about having a pot of gold, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah. He's the pot of gold.
Her leprechaun. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So all that happens here is the Jennifer and Dolores like Cold War kind of comes to a bit of a head.
Mm-hmm.
Dolores pulls Jennifer aside and they get into it.
Yeah.
Because Jennifer was having a bit of a moment, I guess you would say. She was crying about the drama and going around and telling people that Dolores has been a bad friend.
Right. Meanwhile, Dolores is in the kitchen and she can hear you. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it was Rachel that went and spilled the beans to Dolores, and Dolores got fired up. And Rachel's like, "Oh, there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm picking up on that now." But yeah, the episode closes. There's like a few good lines in this blow up. I particularly liked "Learn how to talk," Merriam-Webster.
Yes. I wrote that down too. That was amazing. Yeah. And Jennifer says that, right?
Yeah.
Learn how to talk, Merriam-Webster. Amazing. Brilliant line. So good.
And then Jennifer also fires off that Dolores looks like an old handbag.
She's killing it. She's absolutely on fire.
Yeah. Learn how to talk, Merriam-Webster.
Yeah. So that's the conclusion of Real Housewives of New Jersey season premiere. Any final thoughts on New Jersey?
I'll just say that, like, in the montages between scenes, they're just like way less interesting in New Jersey than they are in like the other shows we've talked about, because it's fucking New Jersey. Like, as we discussed, Miami has killer ones. You know, you might even catch a glimpse of a shark if you don't blink.
Yeah,
and you know, Potomac, they really milk those like cherry blossoms and deer.
Yeah.
And a lot of like colors coming in and out, you know, which they have a lot of fun to that. But in the way they try to hype up New Jersey just doesn't fucking work.
No.
Like, it just looks like shit.
No.
And they keep showing like I was just like did like a tour of several American cities recently. And if there's one thing that every lame American city has, it's like the clock on a brass pole in the middle of town.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I call it the clocksicle. And like every lame town, like the historic downtown core, and they'll have like, you know, banners hung up with like the image of the clocksicle. And they keep showing the clocksicle for New Jersey, which lets you know that they have like nothing to show you.
Yes.
It's like, we're out of ideas.
Yeah.
We don't know what to show you about New Jersey. It's just like,
There's
it's just fucking parking lots and brick buildings, guys. Like, what do you want me to do here?
Nothing pretty exists in New Jersey.
Yeah.
To get to the beach, get a hot dog, gym tan laundry. That's all there is to do.
Go to the Bada Bing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I had written down to ask you, Tim. So we're in a fantasy hockey league together. So
Yes.
I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
out of all of the housewives that you got introduced to this week, who would be your number one draft pick, and who would you be most likely to drop?
Wow, good question. Number one draft pick, just because of the learn how to talk Merriam-Webster. What was her name again?
Jennifer.
Yeah, it's between her. I also like the Frank character, to be honest with you. To be frank with you.
Oh yeah.
But because we're sticking to Housewives, I don't want to veer too far away. So maybe I'll take Jennifer.
Jennifer's a good pick.
It's a tough one.
Good showing to start the season from Jennifer.
Yeah.
So we'll see what she brings.
And then Alexia, I would stay away from. I would drop, I think.
Oh,
scary.
yeah.
Too scary.
I think like Alexia is an all-star. I think she brings it week after week. She's always in the mix for drama. So for like,
I couldn't drop.
Power forward.
She is a very
might be controversial from time to time. A bit of an old school enforcer, but sometimes you need that power forward on your top line.
Like you hate her, but if she's on your team, you love her.
Yeah.
But you hate playing against. You hate playing against her.
Yeah. All right, Dylan. Any final thoughts?
If we're playing with a salary cap, I would definitely add Danielle to my roster as a rookie.
Yeah,
because I think she would be on an entry-level contract since she's just entering the big leagues. I think there's amazing potential for her because she was a bit of a breakout star. I think in that first episode. So I'm really excited to see to where she goes because I think she has potential to get messy too, and it's funny.
Yeah. I think my pick, and it's not purely on this season's performance, but just her history, would be Teresa. She has given the show a lot, and even in a recent it was a blog post or a podcast, she's got a good quote talking about her beef with Melissa this upcoming season. She says, I gave birth on the show, I went to prison on the show, I got divorced on the show, I got married on the show, I buried my parents on the show. And that is that is 100% true. She's like
Truman.
Yeah. She is Truman.
That is that speech that Ed Harris gives Truman about why he belongs to the show is exactly that.
Yeah.
Except it includes you were born on the show, I think. But it's you have given your entire soul to the show at this point. But she's saying it herself. It's not the evil overlord who's dictating this to her.
That's wild.
But that's great, though. That's great.
Yeah.
And I don't really have anyone that I would say I would necessarily drop. It's too early to say what the new girls are going to be bringing to New Jersey. I think Charisse coming back to Potomac as a friend of is maybe my pick for dropping. I don't think she brought a ton to the table. Even the tidbit about calling Karen a prostitute was didn't really she wasn't able to take the ball and run with it. So she'd be my pick to drop, I think.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, thank you guys for doing this. Tim, where can people find you?
Find me online, play me online, Tim Gray Rules with a Z. Check out the Hunks podcast if you like podcasts. That's about it. I'm doing a bunch of shows around Toronto right now. So if you're in Toronto, do it. Just do it. We'll throw drinks on each other.
Nice. That's a Tim Gray promise. Go to one of his shows. You'll get wet.
Yes.
And Dylan, where can people find you? Anything you want to plug?
If you want to hear about horror movies, I have a horror movie podcast that just wrapped up, but we have a catalog of back episodes if that interests you. It's called Mind Over Splatter. You can surely find it wherever you're listening to this show. If you want to hear me and some other guys chat about horror movies. I just launched a new Substack too, which is where I'm going to be depositing my thoughts on movies going forward. So if you want to learn what I think about various movies, look up Dylan Ferguson on Substack. You should be able to find me there. I just ranked the 10 Best Picture nominated Oscar movies as my inaugural post.
Nice.
So feel free to check that out.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, that has been the Bravo Outsider podcast for this week. Follow us on Instagram at Bravo Outsider and subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are found. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Big no.